New Orleans, the Crescent City. It remains a fascinating place because of the originality and diversity of its culture. We have street parades, shotgun houses, voodoo, and all kinds of wildness. Right next door to cathedrals, debutantes, and manicured mansions. We have our own music, architecture, way of speaking, and of course, food. Fried food like po' boys, sweets like beignets, rice dishes like jambalaya. But our signature dish is gumbo. Gumbo is symbolic of the best of New Orleans. It's as much a cultural symbol of Louisiana as the bayou or jazz. That's why, like New Orleans herself, gumbo is temperamental, approachable, but unpredictable. And across America, no dish speaks more vividly of a melting pot than gumbo. It's a complex, mysterious dish born of necessity, bringing together a multiplicity of ingredients and ethnicities. Dating back more than 300 years, many believe the West African slave population first created this dish out of hardship. The name gumbo derives from the word kingombo, which is Bantu for okra, popular ingredient. But it was the Choctaw Indians who developed the spicy filet powder, a key additive made from sassafras leaves. And it was the French who laid claim to the thickening agent known as the roux. Now, we didn't know any of that history when I was growing up, but when we saw those ingredients for gumbo coming through the front door, we knew it was going to be time for a celebration, and it was. You can find gumbo in every corner of this city and argue every day as to whose is best. But the answer always is, there is no better pot of gumbo than one made at home.
The best way to learn, I think, is from your great-grandmother or your grandmother.
New Orleans chef Poppy Tooker's middle name might as well be Gumbo. Poppy, when did you first start preparing this specialty?
I started making gumbo when I was a little girl, and I was a pro by high school. I had it down.
Her take on the signature dish is revered by those near and far.
It all starts with making a roux, doesn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
She says that a few steps are required. First, the all-important mix of flour and oil that makes up the roux.
And then I just stir. And you can't answer the phone. You can't go to the door. You can't leave it alone.
And every gumbo has to include the holy trinity of vegetables.
You get the onions.
Onions, celery, and green peppers. Then that's going to be followed by her lyrical favorite, okra. But after that, it's really just a matter of taste.
Now, how do you feel about tomatoes?
And opinion.
The most important ingredient, I think, in any gumbo are the gumbo crabs.
Uh-oh. Well, bring them on.
Bring them on. Isn't that something?
As long as it's made with Louisiana's finest.
And this is how we're going to get that flavor of the sea.
And strained, simmered, and stirred constantly with love. The result will always be quite poignant and soulful. Ooh, like the Crescent City herself. I hope that we've shown that there's a big difference between gumbo and just any old soup. Gumbo is a full meal. It's a tradition and a philosophy. The fundamentals don't change, but the variations are endless. A good pot of gumbo is so much trouble to make, nobody ever makes a small pot, which is fortunate, because with a good pot on the stove, your whole neighborhood might just end up in your kitchen. You better be ready. God mercy, Poppy.